You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Right, just checking I've got everything ready. Oh, it's always hard coming back from a break, isn't it? And you've got to remember just what to do, and you feel all rusty. Headphones, yep, got those. Phone heads, yep, I've got a phone head. Recording equipment made out of old spoons and a small broccoli. Yep, that's all there. Microphone, yep, and his sister Sarah a phone. Yep, they're here. Hi guys.
Hello.
Weird buffalo that won't stop staring at me. Yep, check. Giant pile of wafer-thin biscuits in the shape of the Eiffel Tower. Yep, check. That's there. Linda? No. Linda? No, still no Linda. Where is Linda? Who is Linda? Anyway, that's okay. I can carry on without her. Done that before. Stinky hippos all sealed up in the smell-proof cupboard. Yep, check. Okay, right. Let's start the podcast. Oh, hello, it's already recording. This broccoli is so unreliable. I really need to get a computer here at Comedy Club for Kids HQ. In which case, as you already hear, sorry, I didn't realise you'd heard all of that. Yodel-hee-hoo to you, and welcome back to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast for all ages, from, to, and everything in between. Oh, no, isn't it nice to be back? Isn't it nice to be back here with this podcast? I'm so sorry this show's been on a break, but I have been very, very busy doing lots and lots of important things, like learning how to make this noise. There you go. That took a lot of practice. And also training my pet stone, Barry Goggles, to do anything. He doesn't really do anything. He's a stone. I haven't succeeded with that. I've got him to roll once that was it. He's very stubborn. And most importantly, I just needed some time to get things organised, just make sure I got all your questions in order. I had to recycle all the stinky hippos that you keep posting, and I had to collect all the various farting animals that you keep sending in, and I've done that, so they're now all in alphabetical order on the shelf. Have a listen, I'll just take you along as we go. There's the aardvarks, the bats, the cats, the deer. You get the idea. Although this one's really weird though. Hang on, let me just go a bit further along. Sea jelly. Yeah. I had no idea that's how sea jellies. They used to be called jellyfish, but now they're sea jellies. I had no idea that's how they farted. But then I thought maybe it just sounds very different underwater, and I haven't actually tried that because it's just up on the shelf. So hang on a second. Ow! Oh, okay. Right, here we go. I'm covered in stings, but it was worth it. Sea jelly underwater. Yeah. You see, that's how it's meant to sound. Anyway, thanks for sending all of those in, and thank you for your many, many messages and reviews that you've been posting about this podcast. Thanks to Blip Blooper, who posted a review saying, please make more episodes. Well, I'm very sorry, Blip Blooper. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to make any more episodes. I refuse to. So I hope you'll make do with all these new episodes that I've recorded absolutely nowhere near a moor or any other grassy upland. I just don't do that. It's not particularly good for the acoustics. Thanks to Brad, a girl, for your many messages. To Cortec for the stinky hippos, which I did have. I didn't quite have space for them in the smell-proof cupboard, so I've left some of them in different aisles in our local supermarket. And now everyone that goes in thinks the bread and the tin sweet corn smell a bit like someone has been sick on your shoes. And thanks to Tennis Ball Heart in the US for sending some sort of difficulty ranking system with clowns, tennis balls, moons, and clovers. And in fact, it's so difficult, I haven't decoded it yet, so I assume I've failed, but I will keep trying. Do I have to make a sandwich with all of those things? It's very hard to put clowns in a sandwich. They just keep sort of trying to escape. I'll see what I can do. Oh, and thanks lots to Banjo for the clean hippos. But sadly, since arriving, they fell in a small pool of wee that the weird buffalo did. So now they're stinky hippos as well. And I had to leave them by the onions in aisle 3. Also, a big thanks to Ridley, who sent in these 3 amazing funny jokes, which I will read to you right now. Joke number 1. Who is a lawnmower's favourite musician? David Bowie! That's brilliant. Joke 2. What would a balloon call his wife? Poppy! And joke 3, which politician would you use to inflate your tyre? Donald Pump. Brilliant work, Ridley. Amazing that you have made those jokes up yourself. When I first read them, they all made me laugh so much that lemonade shot out of my nose, which was very weird as I wasn't drinking any at the time. That is how funny they are. So thank you tons for sending those in. So I think that's all the things sorted out. And now we can get on with a new episode. Oh, wait, hang on. No, sorry. I just have to... Yeah, and then also... Yeah, good. Right. And now we can start the new podcast properly. And of course, if you have any questions, jokes, or anything you need to tell us on Radio Nonsense, you can send it in on a lovely review. And please do keep giving the show lovely reviews. But if you get your dehydrated gorillas on stilts to help, grown-ups, if you get them to help you email us at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk, then I'll send you a reply too, which I can't do with reviews. You don't get a reply on those. You have to wait till I get to them on the show. Also, now we have loads and loads of live Comedy Club for Kids shows again all over the United Kingdom, and if you live there, then we might have one near you, so do check comedyclubforkids.co.uk to see where we're doing them. I won't always be at them, but there will always be some very, very funny comedians on stage who may have even answered your questions on this show. Who can tell? I will be at some of the live shows, though, and if I am, then feel free to ask me any questions that you like in person, or shout them at me on stage, and I'll try and answer them as part of the show, or just hand me a sandwich where you've written the question on it in your favourite filling, whichever is easiest. Oh, and the one thing I always forget to plug is we are on PopJam, and I try and post lots and lots of silly things on PopJam. So if you out there use PopJam and enjoy it, do come and follow us and comment on all our posts. Okay, and now back to the bit that you've all been patiently waiting for, and that's... no, sorry, I haven't plugged that in. I'd forgotten about that bit. Right, hang on a second. And now we're back in business. Oh, no, the weasel just fell off the shelf. Right, hang on, I just got to put the weasel back. Good. Right, okay, here we go. Here is the answering of the questions. I am joined on the Radio Nonsense podcast today by none other than the amazing Alison Spittle, a.k.a. Al Spitz, Captain Starjumps the Fourth, and of course Alison the Least Reverend. But most of the listeners will know you for being the record holder for the highest tower of stack crackers in 2019, the only person to successfully train a hippo to burp the entire alphabet not once but twice, and of course you are the renowned inventor of the Tamar fingers, because you said, why should there just be tomatoes? It's lovely to have you on the show. Lovely to have you here.
Oh, lovely to be here. Lovely to be here. I'm delighted I'm getting all my tomato body parts sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very hard to balance on tomatoes because they get quite squishy, don't they? Have you ever stood on a little plum tomato before?
Do you know what? I haven't. There's the closest I came to, which is still brought up by my daughter on regular occasions. I once stepped on a blueberry. And it's a regular conversation in our house is that Daddy stepped on that blueberry, didn't he? And like it's something I should be ashamed about, but I feel like I crushed it. I'm a champion here.
That poor blueberry, though. Did it do a little scream like, ee?
Yes, it did. Yep.
Sometimes when I make a blueberry smoothie, all you can hear is, and I'm very lucky that the blender is quite loud because the screams of the blueberries are quite strong.
Is that why blenders make so much noise? Because otherwise we wouldn't drink. Like it'd be too upsetting to drink smoothies because all the fruit would just be screaming.
All the fruit would be exactly that. It's not an engine or anything like that. It sounds quite like an electrical car, blenders normally, but they've had to add that noise because yes, you do hear the pleas for help as well. Help me, I'm being chopped up into lots of pieces.
Wow.
You don't want to hear that from your blueberries.
No, and I have to say this is kind of upsetting for me because I'm a vegetarian, right? And
yes,
we're quite old school now. People are sort of vegan or not, and I'm in the middle. I'm a veggie, but I thought one of the things is you eat fruits and vegetables because they don't, they're not alive. They don't feel sad. But are you telling me now that actually every fruit I eat, am I sort of biting into its face? Am I just like eating its brain?
Well, not every fruit, because as we both know, the spinach loves being eaten.
Oh, that's
loves
good.
Being boiled. Good. Yeah, it loves being chopped up. It says, "Chop me more." It can take it, and it's it's the toughest vegetable of all.
Wow.
The spinach, and it loves being eaten. In fact, it feels sad. If you look, if your mum or your dad ever throws out any spinach from the fridge, like into the bin, they're quite upset spinach because they love to be eaten. They
Wow.
love to go through your tummy, and they feel at home there. They really do. They feel like they've achieved something.
That's amazing, but then that's funny, isn't it? Because spinach, like, they want to be eaten, but then sometimes they really hang on to like the bits in between your teeth, like they don't want to go. You
Yes.
know, like, and you're like, if you want to be eaten, just go, guys. But often, like, it can be days afterwards. There's still a bit of spinach in there.
Yeah, spinach wants to feel wanted.
Sure.
That's the thing about spinach. It's like it really, the destination of your tummy is where it wants to go, but it wants a bit of a journey as well.
Sure.
Like they're quite like have you ever seen the TV show Gladiators or
Mm.
Ninja Warrior or Total Wipeout? Spinach is quite into it, really wants to get into your tummy, but it wants a really tough journey to get there.
Wow, spinach is amazing.
Mm.
We don't give spinach enough credit when it's that kind of like tough and hardcore and loves its adventure and its journey. I feel like we should all be praising spinach a lot more.
I think so, because I think the reputation for spinach is quite wilty.
Yeah.
It wilts away as soon as you put it into the pan or anything like that. But psychologically, or it's very strong. The
Yeah, well, because
spinach.
it's full of iron as well, isn't it? So it's basically like the vegetable version of Iron Man, in a way. You could wear
That's exactly
armor
it
of
in the
spinach. Yeah,
Avengers.
yeah.
What what other vegetables are superheroes to you?
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
I
I
think turnip is the Hulk.
Oh,
It's quite
interesting. Do you know,
raw.
I was trying to work out what the Hulk was. So thinking of like big green veg, like a cabbage, but you're right. I think
Oof.
turnip's like gnarled and big, and it's quite hard as well. So I think probably
Mm.
like that you could probably knock down a door with a turnip. I think.
You definitely could knock down a door of a turnip. In fact, I think the police have used that in the past.
I think you're right.
Turnips,
That's
what a
right.
turnip for the books. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I think that's where that phrase comes from, isn't it? A turnip for the books, where it's like we don't know what else
Yeah.
to use. Well, let's use a turnip for the book, and that's that must be where it's all these phrases come from. Real life events always.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Like give peas a chance
Yeah,
is actually just peas begging you to give them a chance,
yeah,
because they're not allowed in the superhero Avenger gang because they're so small, but they're actually quite powerful. If you put a load of peas, like frozen peas,
mm.
if you get hit with a bag of frozen peas, it's gonna pack a punch.
Yeah, and also
You
frozen
know?
peas are like what you put on stuff if you get injured because they've got like that healing power. Like yeah,
Yes, like mashed potato.
yeah,
You ever see peas on top of mashed potatoes because the potatoes are quite injured, but
yeah.
those peas are,
Peas are
they're
incredibly strong. Yeah, and I think again, peas deserve a bit like spinach. A lot of people give peas gripe, but peas are great. They just have to work in
mm,
numbers. Like you don't really want just one pea. Like that's the thing is by themselves they're a bit rubbish, but you need
yeah.
a crew.
They want a piece of the action, so they do.
That's it.
Peas
That's it. This is
generally.
so educational. I didn't expect this. I mean, I should have known because we
Mm,
mentioned the tomato fingers, sorry, earlier, and obviously that's where you're. Which I mean, there's going to be some listeners going, tomatoes aren't a vegetable. They're not, but they are. Like they want to be I feel like they want to be a vegetable. Anyway, it's complicated.
yeah, they're part of the gang.
Yeah,
Let's be friendly to tomatoes.
yeah.
Let's what I want your listeners to do is right now go find a vegetable in their house and give it a hug.
Oh, that's
So you give
nice.
some spring onions a hug. You rub its little leaves and you go, "I love you, spring onions," and they'll feel that. I want vegetables and fruit to have to have emotions. Get emotional with your vegetables. I love you, spring onions. It might not say it back.
Yeah,
It's not capable of saying it back. They've been through a lot, spring onions, but they'll know you love them. And
yeah.
they'll feel.
That's
Although
nice.
some people hate spring onions,
Yeah, I don't know
don't they?
why. Like because they're onions but springy. Like why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want something
Mm,
more spring? I want more spring. Like there should be more spring things. Spring potatoes. We need. As soon as you put spring in
that would
something,
be
it's more
wonderful.
bouncy and exciting, isn't it?
I would love to see, because if you ever tried to bounce a potato, it doesn't
No,
work.
no.
Throw a potato on the floor. That's what I want you to do. Is hug a vegetable, but throw a potato on the floor and see if it bounces.
Yeah, yeah. And if it does, then you've discovered spring potato. Let us know. I think Yeah.
Please. And if a spring onions tell you they love you back, please let us know as well about that.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, as I said, this we barely even started the show, and already I feel like I've learned so much from your vegetable based wisdom. And I should say also fruits. You are expert in fruit as well, but we haven't covered that as much. But I know you are. It's well known. But how are you in general? Are you all right apart from all your vegetable based science?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling hopeful.
No.
I feel like I got like a fizzy, happy feeling in my tummy. And I don't know whether that's me feeling good or maybe I need a wee. I'm not
Oh, that's
sure.
tricky. I bet that's hard, isn't it? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's definitely feeling good. Sometimes it's oh my gosh, I've had too much like fizzy pop, and
I
now I need a wee.
know.
Yeah.
And when it's a fizzy feeling, you're like, oh, I don't want my wee to be fizzy. That
No.
would be no. Need to go to the doctor with that.
Yeah. That doesn't happen often because it's sort of a letdown in a way. I think when you have a fizzy drink, but then your wee isn't fizzy because I feel like I kind of
Yes.
it should be like when you wee, it's like a sort of fire extinguisher, but it's not, is it? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that would be quite good. Could you imagine firemen just running around?
Just weeing on fire. That would be
Weeing on
disgusting.
fire.
Also,
That
you'd
would
be
be
so
disgusting.
sad if my house is on fire coming up. Oh no, now it's covered in wee, and that don't. Oh,
Yeah.
now everything's ruined.
And the firemen would have to drink lots and lots of water. They would
Mm.
have to drink buckets of water, so they would.
Yeah, so
put out a big fire.
They probably still end up using the same amount of water they do in the hose just to wee on your fire. Yeah.
Yeah, someone should have a word actually. Maybe change that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would allow a lot more people to be to work as firefighters because it's a lot of hard work to be a firefighter right now. You've got to be like super healthy and you've got to do lots of training. You've got to know all these safety things. But I think if it's just can you do a big wee, like a lot
Yes.
more people could do it, which would be quite good.
I love that as a question because you're like, can you do a big wee? I was like, yes, I can.
Yeah. It's got. I don't know. I mean, it's not something I ask enough people. Maybe I should ask more, but I don't know many people that can't do a big wee. So it must be quite disappointing if your reply to that is no. I can only do a small wee. That would be quite upsetting.
It would. It would be small talk. The small talk would end at that point.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be like.
Yeah, it's not a good conversation starter. I think should advise listeners if you're meeting someone for the first time, don't start with "Can you do a big wee?" I think that's probably not the best.
No.
Probably not the best
Start
way.
with hello.
Yeah, hello.
And then can you do a big wee?
Yes, much nicer, isn't it? Much nicer. You've put in groundwork. Then I like that. That's good. So you're feeling hopeful, and you've got a fizzy tummy, which could be good or wee. And is that hopeful? Anything in particular, or just generally? Have are you excited about anything?
I'm excited. I've got a bit of a situation happening, Tiernan. I have a pigeon problem at the moment.
Oh,
like a massive pigeon problem. I have a balcony, and there's a lot of dead plants on it because I planted a lot of plants with a lot of hope, and then lost that hope, and all the plants died.
oh.
So there's a big plant graveyard, but there are pigeons at the moment, and they're living in my balcony. And at first, I loved it because they're quite pigeons are quite cute. I think if you look at them for long enough, they look grey, but then if you stare at their necks, sometimes it's like greeny purple. They look like they're wearing lovely necklaces as an animal, And have you ever seen pigeons' feet?
No, what their feet? Were they sort of they're very sort of like claw-like, aren't they? They've got the kind of little wrinkles and the.
Oh, they need pedicures.
Right.
Pigeons need pedicures generally. Their feet are quite gnarled, I would say. They have like warts, and sometimes you can see that they've got like hair around their ankles and stuff, and it's quite. I wouldn't say ugly because I don't think anything is ugly, but gnarled, quite gnarly feet pigeons have. And I looked at them, thought they were beautiful for a while, thought they were friendly, but all they've done is just poo all over my balcony. So my balcony is just covered in poo, and all I can hear is coo hoo 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 and then pooing. It's just terrible.
That is
I don't know how to
terrible.
get them
And is your
away.
balcony now very slippy? Is it just like a sort of slippy hazard?
Genuinely, I slipped on some pigeon poo.
Ah,
That there was so much pigeon poo. It was nearly the size of a human poo.
oh
It
my
was just
gosh.
quite a lot of it.
Well, because people always
Mm.
say like, oh, if you get pooed on by a bird, it's good luck, but it's not, is it? Because you've been pooed on, and that's the worst luck. That's the worst luck you can have is
Yeah.
getting pooed on. That's terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. It's yeah, because there's no luck at all. Plus, you don't know how that pigeon or bird looked at you or whatever. You know, they could have done it as an act of anger.
Mm.
You know,
They could
they
be,
might
now
have
I'm going to
looked at
poo
you
on
and
this
went,
one. Yeah, absolutely.
"Look at this lady enjoying her sandwich, looking all happy of her life." You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to poo on her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, yeah, although if I was a pigeon, I would poo on everyone. I feel
Yeah, absolutely. And also
definitely.
like on statues and all everything that pigeons poo on, you just sort of go, yeah, fair play.
Mm.
If I could fly, I'd probably just, poo on people from above because it's a great thing to because you'd get away with it. Like who would stop you?
Exactly. Who would stop me? Or I'd tell people, you give me that ice cream cone, or I'm going to poo on you.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know. And that's probably what the pigeons are saying to me, but I don't understand pigeon,
Of course. Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
have to negotiate with them.
I was going to say that there is a I don't know if it's pigeons. It's one of this is when I should look things up, but I can't be bothered. But there's one of the
Mm.
bird poos that is like really good for like energy, like being reused to make energy or to kind of power electricity and stuff like that. And you could try and collect it and create some sort of maybe these pigeons are trying to give you biofuel. They're like your plants have died, but maybe you could make some sort of amazing machine.
That's true. Is that guana? Is that what it's called? The
Yeah,
stuff
that's it.
guana.
Is that from birds or is that from something else entirely?
I hope not, because once I ate a chocolate bar that was guana flavored. Let's have a look. I'll Google it. Maybe it wasn't a chocolate bar at all. Maybe.
Oh no. But
I
did you
shouldn't
feel
have. I
full of
shouldn't have.
energy after it? Were you sort of all full of beans?
I was full of beans, but maybe that's because it was a pigeon that gave me that chocolate bar. So maybe I shouldn't have trusted that pigeon
That's
at
true,
all.
yeah. Yeah.
But guana bird poo. I'm gonna let's do a quick have a look on
Oh
the
my gosh,
computer
this is
there.
live research.
Guano is the accumulated excrement of seabirds and bats. And
Wow.
as a manure, guano, so they use it as a manure. It can be an effective fertilizer, so that's good for plants. You're right. And it's got key nutrients essential for plant growth. All
See, so
right.
maybe
And it's used.
they saw your plants on your balcony were dying and when we can
Yeah.
save them, team, let's get pooing. We're going to save Alison's balcony plants.
Team, let's get pooing. I love that. I've just seen that it's used in gunpowder.
Oh wow. Okay. So it might
So
be that
maybe
it might be a threat. We don't know yet.
I think these pigeons are threatening me in my home. I think they're building an arsenal that's of guano that they're gonna use in gunpowder.
Wow.
All because I scare them away all the time. I can't. Do you ever try and scare birds away, and how do you go about it?
I mean, I haven't done for some time. My daughter's pretty good at just sort of running at them and yelling, and then
Mm-hmm.
they tend to go. I've not really had to scare. I mean, I had an incident a few years ago where I needed to get a seagull away from my chips, and it was quite
Yes.
big, and I just sort of made lots of shouty noises. But eventually, he didn't care. I gave up. I had to move away. So
Aren't seagulls so threatening? They
yeah,
look so muscly. They look like men that go to the gym that never work on their legs because they're quite muscly up top.
yeah.
And also the men in my gym, they're always trying to steal my chips. So
So
they,
it's
they
exactly
look
the
at me.
same. Wow. I always think
Mm,
like seagulls have got to be out at sea when it's really windy, when the waves are really rough. So like they got to be pretty powerful, right? Because like
yeah.
you've got to So I wouldn't mess with someone that had just been like, yeah, I've just been out at sea and it was rough. Give me a chip. I'm like, okay, here you go. I'm not gonna mess with
Have
you.
my chips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrifying.
I feel like a scarecrow when I try and scare away the pigeons. And I just say, please go away. And they don't understand me. They just stay there.
That's
It's
tricky. Have
quite
you thought
annoying.
about building a scarecrow on your balcony? Would that work?
I I should. I should build a scarecrow, maybe out of sausages.
Hmm.
I think because I look like a sausage, like a raw sausage, pink and stuff. So maybe I should make a big scarecrow, out of I'll have a sausage leg and a sausage arm and another sausage leg and a sausage arm. And maybe I'll have a burger face. We can make a meat scarecrow. Spaghetti hair, I think, would be quite
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
Ketchup lips, I think.
Look,
I've got beautiful ketchupy lips.
Alison, I don't want to, I think this is a good plan, but my worry is that you're just gonna feed the pigeons and then they'll keep coming back because they'll go, "This is the tastiest scarecrow we've ever seen. We want more of," and then you're gonna have to keep building them, and you're gonna end up just like giving them a banquet, and then they're gonna more and more of them will come. It's gonna become a cycle.
Maybe I should make the pigeons vegetarian and then tell them it's meat. I'll be like, you can't have this. But yeah, I am giving them a banquet like Henry VIII or something. Henry VIII, the king, right? He was a character, wasn't he? I mean, I don't remember him because I wasn't born when he was around.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
But he's quite. I always imagine Henry VIII eating a big turkey leg, or eating a big ham. He seemed like a big meaty man, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did. He was very. Well, I think he began not very round and then ended up quite round because if you're king, you'd be like, well, of course I'm just going to eat everything. I'm king. Like I'd do that. I always think about that. Like, why I'm amazed that the Queen of England, isn't just eating stuff all the time. That's what I'd do. I'd be like bringing a cake all the time. I'm the Queen.
I wonder, do they still have? Because I was watching a TV show about a comedian, actually, Josh Widdicombe, and his great 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 grandfather used to wipe the king's bum. That was his job.
Wow!
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Wow.
And like, do you think the Queen, that our Queen now, does she have that? Do you think?
She must do. She's the Queen. I assume it's tradition.
Yeah.
You didn't want to get rid of tradition.
No, it's a traditional. It's a job. It's a traditional job.
Yeah, and
but
again,
I wonder,
that's a tricky one to audition for because how many people do you call in for that job interview? And like, what do they have to go? Nope, you've wiped my bum terribly. You've wiped my bum too hard or too soft, or you have to. Like, that's, how do you practice? Do you have to go around wiping other people's bums until you can become an expert in it? It's weird.
You must have to do that. There must be you must be like a bum wipe apprentice.
Yeah.
And you have to pick the best, because apparently back in the Henry VIII's day, it was kind of they didn't have toilet paper back then. They had like a sponge on a stick.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
And then it just stays as a pooey sponge. Ugh. That's horrible. Wow.
That is genuinely horrible.
Yeah. I don't know if people sometimes say, if you go back in history and live at any point in the past, where would you live? I often think nowhere. It was disgusting. They had to use sponges to wipe their bums. Whereas now I've got like the internet and packets of crisps. Like, why would I live somewhere where they didn't have that? That sounds rubbish.
Absolutely. Everybody was stinking up until our mum's time.
Yeah.
And then they stopped stinking.
And all their teeth fell out, and it's like it was people put buckets of wee in the street. It was horrible. Whereas now, yeah, exactly. I've got I can play on the computer and have a sandwich. It's brilliant.
Our grandmas used to put gravy on their legs to pretend that they're tights. Can you imagine the smell of that beefy grandma? Just
and then you get attacked by pigeons. I mean, it's never ending, is it? Like, it's just, or seagulls.
Never ending.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear about your pigeon situation. I hope that we find a solution. I should say to listeners, if you've got any solutions for getting rid of pigeons, do send them in. I'll let Alison know. I wanted to ask you as well, because it's so lovely to have you on the podcast today, and this, as you probably know, is an audio podcast. Our listeners listen to it mostly with their ears, some of them I think with their bums or with their knees. I don't entirely know. Again, it's wherever they choose to listen to it, that's welcomed. But because it's an audio podcast, I just wondered if you had a favourite noise that you could either tell us or make for us.
Yeah, so my favourite noise, I've been thinking about this, is well, I'll do it for you now, right there. So it's a family of noises.
Ooh.
So this is first off, right? That's a daddy fart. And then we're gonna go on to the other one, which is Wait. 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 Oh no.
These are amazing. These are amazing.
That's a mummy fart. Wait. Like that, you know,
Wow.
quite a feminine sounding one. And then we have this one, which is that's a granddad fart. That is, you know,
Wow.
quite
Yeah.
strained. You know, it's an old sound of fart. And this one is wait. That's a baby fart. That is.
Wow. That was
Yes.
quite. I'm sad the listeners won't have seen your face while you did those, because there was a lot of like there was different facial expressions needed for each one. You really know this. You really know your family farts.
Yeah, I'm making those faces because it's quite hard to strain, you know, when you are farting.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't making it. Those were actual farts.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's how realistic the sounds are. They were real. I like as well that if you hadn't told us what they were, it could have also been a very disappointing fireworks display.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it's really rubbish and it's really rainy, and at the end you're like, oh, was that it? That was.
Yes,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I have younger sisters, and when I used to babysit them, we used to have this secret song that we had between each other, which was where I would go, hoishka, hoishka poo poo, hoishka, hoishka, hoishka. And I would do a dance with that. And I don't know what language that's being, but it was our own language. And that was the way we'd say hello to each other. Like, we pretended we would be spies by go, hoishka poo poo. And then they would go, hoishka, hoishka, hoishka. And it was great.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could show you the dance, but yeah.
Well, I hope one day to see it. I hope one day that you can, next time I see you in the real world, that I can see this dance, because that sounds absolutely incredible. That secret language with siblings is something that no one else will ever understand, I think. Me and my brother used to spend hours. This is something very hard to explain, but we found one day a small picture of it. Looked like, I think, Donald Duck's hand holding a peanut. And that's all it was. It was like a tear of paper, and all it had in it was Donald Duck's hand holding a peanut. And we thought that was the funniest thing we've ever seen. And we put it in a small gold frame, and we put it on our mantelpiece, and we'd spend ages just pointing at this. And it turned out it came from a bit of wrapping paper. It had been torn up, but that was like to us. And we just reference it and I'm now explaining this to you, going, it doesn't sound completely weird, but it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. It's, yeah.
Would you point at the picture and go, that's nuts?
No, we didn't. We didn't even do that. That was amazing. That's what we should have done. It's connections, siblings that don't make sense to anyone else ever again. Brilliant.
Yeah, what I love is I've babysat recently for other children, and the language they have is they'll go, Mummy, Jem is trying to get out of the car while it's moving. So, like, it's quite the secret language there.
Yeah. Wow, that's I can't even begin to imagine what that means. That's really amazing. Well, thank you for your family of fart noises. Those were absolutely incredible. And I wanted as well that this is, as sure you're well aware, this is a family podcast. It's suitable for everyone of all ages that you can possibly imagine. Imagine an age, Alison. Just imagine an age.
Oh, I thought you said H, and I was imagining the letter H.
It's suitable for people who are 8 years old as well, so that works as well. It's suitable for all ages, even H. So it's. I'm just trying to, make sure that everyone knows they're welcome to listen to this podcast. And that's why I just wanted to check if there are going to be any rude words you definitely won't be saying throughout this show.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be so many rude words that I'm not going to use, such as, belly button jam.
Oh,
yeah. No, not going to talk about that.
Belly button jam. Yeah, please don't.
No, belly button jam is not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about uh, knee syrup.
Oh
I'm not
no!
going to talk
Oh
about that as
gosh,
well.
no! Please don't say knee syrup. That's awful. Yeah.
Knee syrup is it's disgusting. It's the gunk you get at the back of your knee if you haven't washed your knees for a while.
Yeah.
The back of your knee.
Oh, it's really well. I'm
Uh,
really grateful you're not going to say that on the show. That is knee syrup is horrendous. Yeah.
and toe butter. I'm
Oh.
not going to talk about toe butter.
Oh gosh.
That's the butter that your toes make if you haven't
Ah.
washed your feet for ages.
Wow. Well, I'm just thank you for not saying belly button jam, knee syrup, or toe. But I won't say them either. You know, and hopefully if you don't say belly button, knee syrup or toe jam either, toe butter. Sorry, you know that then no one will say it during the show, and hopefully it'll be safe
Yeah,
for people to listen
and
to.
definitely never put it on a pancake.
No.
Like I know it's tempting.
No.
But you don't want a pancake full of toe butter and belly button jam and knee syrup.
No. Worst possible
Especially
topping.
if bacon. Disgusting.
Wow.
I don't like sweet and savory things together on a plate.
No.
Vile.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. That is fair. That is fair. I am actually. I've got to ask you the most important question in a minute, which is the question that I've asked you here for. But just out of interest, like people, I always think they're called pancakes because you make them in a pan. But like, if you made them in other
Yes.
stuff, could you make a pancake in a wok? Would it be a wok cake? Could you make one,
Oh,
in different things, and it would be a
like a hat cake or something
Yeah.
when you put batter in a hat.
yeah,
And then you put it on your head and let it cook for a little while.
yeah,
Yeah, they should change it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
I
correct
think
about
there's
that.
time for some different types of cake. That's all I'm saying. It's just something I'm thinking about. Something I'll propose it. I'll write a letter to someone important about it at some point. But I'm glad you're on
Yeah,
board.
we should get a song together, like Imagine by John Legend. Imagine a pancake not made in a pan, but it's made in a wok. Imagine making a pancake in something mad like your daddy's Crocs. Imagine, because it's
That was
cooking a
that was
sorry.
remarkable. And if I had the ability to commission you for that song right now, I would do it. I can't,
Thank
but I
you.
would because it is. That's and a crock cake sounds disgusting, and
Oh,
would certainly have
it does.
toe butter on it as well, which
But
is
it would. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
which we're
yes.
not going to say. Obviously, we're not going to say toe butter.
Of course.
I should say. Right, Alison. Listen, the reason I've got you here, well, it's lovely having you here anyway. But the reason I've got you here is because I know you are the person who can answer these two questions that we have had. They've been sent in from Layla, aged 8, and she sent in two questions. And they're both
amazing.
Yeah, they're both, I think, important questions. They're both things that that I don't know why we haven't asked them before. I don't know why people aren't asking them every day. But I think, judging by all your expertise, in fact, we have sort of covered both these areas already. You're the person. So do you want me to give you both questions at once? Would you like one at a time? Would you like none of them and just a series of sounds? How would you like me to ask you these questions?
Try a series of sounds first. Let's hear that.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that told the whole story.
Yeah.
That did. Whatever. Yeah. Right, I'll take the first question. Let's go for that.
So yeah, it's probably better. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm pleased you like the interpretation. It's probably not that helpful for the listeners to. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go. We'll just do this question. First question. Then second question. First question is, why are sunflowers called sunflowers, not long flowers?
That is a great question, Layla, and shows an incredible curiosity of your mind, and I love it. Sunflowers, as we all know, have daddy flowers, and they're called sunflowers so that their dads know where they are. There's daughter flowers as well, and there's mummy flowers, but sunflowers are the sons of daddy flowers.
Wow.
And as we all know, daddy flowers are gladioli, which are those big long ones that look like daddies, I think. And the mum flowers, or the mother flowers, they are fuchsias, and they look like little ballerinas. Have you seen those flowers?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And there's dog flowers as well, which are dandelions.
Wow.
Which you would think would be cat flowers because they're a lion, but no, they're the dog flowers.
So why is it only sunflowers where they've gone for the name of what they're? Because like you said, daddy flowers are gladiolas. So why aren't they called daddiolas? Like, why didn't they?
They should be called daddiolas. Yeah, yeah. I think someone misheard it once, and then they. I think maybe the daddiolas were doing like a dad joke.
Hmm.
So they said, "How are you today?" And they said, "Well, I'm gladiola to be here."
Ah,
And poor daddy flowers. They've had their names ruined by their own
by their
jokes.
own terrible dad jokes. That is what happens. But also,
Mm,
it's nice because I quite like gladiola in that if you use it like as a greeting, then it's right up there with aloe vera, which I always think of as like evening primrose.
absolutely.
They're always those flowers that are like greetings, aren't
Mm.
they? Yeah.
They are. They're very good. Or and it's amazing. Please go away. Those flowers, they're not very popular.
No, no.
You know.
There was that the original name of the cactus or cacti, isn't it? Wasn't it? Please go away. I thought they were originally called like if you come near me, I'll spike you. They were called something horrible.
Yes, exactly. They're like, please don't hug me.
Yeah, yeah,
Please.
that's
You
it.
know, it's gonna hurt you as much as it'll hurt me.
Yeah,
And yeah, they're quite prickly cactuses
yeah,
in skin and in personality.
yeah. I bet they're not fun to try and talk to. Actually, I've never really tried to talk to a cactus, but I bet it's not
Mm.
particularly. But yeah, that's probably also like partly because they're out there in the desert, they're doing their thing, and then somebody comes up to them like, "I'm going to cut your face off and drink all the water," and they're like, "Go away! Like I've been saving this water for me." You know.
I know, yeah. God, we are so selfish, aren't we, when it comes to plants?
Yeah.
We just want them to be pretty or we want them to feed us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Like,
Well, it's back to your
yeah,
earlier
like,
chat about screaming blueberries. You know, we're just sort of we're not paying attention to what they need.
and
Yeah.
yeah, true. And Screaming Blueberries, incidentally, my favorite jazz band. Screaming
Yes, they're
Blueberries.
very good. I like the
Mm,
screen blueberries too. Is it, so yeah, what
mm.
was is you said that sunflowers are the sun like why is it like because some plants are called just what they're like bluebells, they look like bluebells,
Yes.
snowdrops they look like snowdrops, and then you get other ones you're like why are you called that? That's rubbish. Like is this like are some flowers named by certain people who just like well that's what it is, and other flowers named by some like is it to do with who's naming them?
Yeah, probably. Like I want to meet the person that I want to know how they name different flowers, like Rose. Like, was there a lady called Rose, or was there a flower called Rose first?
Ah, yeah.
Do you think all of these? Do you think all of these flowers that have like Lily? Do you think that was found by Lily Allen, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna call
Yeah.
these. I'm gonna call these flowers after me, Lily, or
Yeah.
Daisy." Do you
That's
think a
good
lady
because
called
also then
Daisy
like a
found that
lily
flower?
pad, maybe that's named after where Lily Allen lives. It's like that's my pad. That's my lily pad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She lost her iPad one
Yeah.
day. She threw it on a lake and it floated. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, a lily pad. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Violet as well. Do you think a little old lady found that
Mm.
flower and called it Violet?
Yeah, well, there's Violet is so close to being violent, isn't it? I wonder if it was like
Mm.
I wonder if somebody like got attacked by a violet, like falling out of a window or something, and they're like, "This is too violent," but then they spelt it, the spell check just changed it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think there was like a police report
Yeah,
of an attack by a flower?
yeah,
And they're like, this violence, we're attacking me.
yeah.
And it's actually the flower. Yeah, yeah, I
I think
agree.
so.
I
And
agree.
now we've all let them off because we call them violet and we don't realise that they're
Yeah,
pretty mean
yeah.
flowers. Yeah.
Venus flytrap,
Hmm.
like those are quite violent flowers.
They are,
Have
but
you ever put your finger in one?
I've always been too scared to because I always just think, what if they think my
Mm.
fingers are really weird, like stodgy fly?
Yeah, they're like sausages.
Yeah,
Nom, nom, nom,
exactly.
nom,
And I
nom.
don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Also, like they definitely like flies. They eat flies, but maybe that's because they've never tasted a finger before, and I don't want to get them into. I don't want to be the guy that they're like, oh, now they have to be called Venus finger traps or Venus human traps. I don't want to. I don't want to
Yeah,
be the
you don't
first
want to
one.
give them a taste for human flesh.
That's it.
I understand
That's
that.
it.
Mm.
I've seen films where
Mm.
that happens. It's too terrifying. I'm not gonna,
Oh,
yeah, exactly. But that's also the Venus flytrap. The flytrap bit that makes sense. They trap a fly. They don't look like the planet Venus.
no, no, it's silly. It's a
Yeah,
silly name.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Yeah, so I think that they should. I think they should be called long flowers. I totally understand where you're coming from, Layla, and that. And in fact, let's just name flowers names that we think they should be called. So a cactus would be like a prickleberry, I think, or something like that.
I like that. Yeah,
Prickleberry. We'll call a rose Pinky Plonk. We'll call what else is there? I'm trying to think of
what about a buttercup? What would you call a buttercup?
Oh, a buttercup. A buttercup. Yeah, we'll call them yellow-lows, I think.
That's nice. I like yellow-lows.
Because they're like low to the ground and they're yellow. Yeah, they're very cute.
That is good.
Yeah. Can you think of any that you would rename yourself?
I'm quite bad at remembering what plants. I'm not very good at what plants are called. I often just see when I go, that's nice or that isn't nice, and that's my levels. But I think yellow-lows and things are so lovely. But there is also a bit. I mean, we're talking about the plants that have names like rose or like violet. I'd quite like there to be a plant. I don't even know what plant, but it's a plant called clive. I just want one plant to be a clive plant.
Yeah. That's great. Let's give that name to gladiolis, because all dads are called Clive anyway. I think you're right.
Well, let's change it. Gladiolis to scrap that. Clive plants. I'm very up for that.
Clive plants. And there's nothing like saying sorry with Clive plants. You know, you see someone with a bouquet full of Clive plants.
Yeah.
You know?
And they really mean sorry. Yeah.
That's Clive is very sorry. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that is great. I think. Well, thank you for that very thorough, insightful answer. And I mean, it's sort of so often we come to the end of these questions. It's like, well, they're not. You're right. They should be called long flowers. They should be called so many other things, and they're not. So I would suggest to Layla, just start calling them what you think they should. Just start calling them what you think should be called, and it will catch on. Eventually, you might get a job as a flower namer from now on.
Yeah, I think we should call dandelions, which are my least favorite flower, just fart petals.
Yeah,
you know. And anytime you put your nose down to sniff it, just go like that into your face.
That would be really grim. That would be.
Wouldn't that be really grim?
Imagine that you see a field of dandelions; it would just smell so horrible.
They're so horrible, and you don't know whether you have hay fever or it's just the smell of farts. You know, your eyes are streaming, you're sneezing, and all of these flowers are farting everywhere.
It's horrible. I mean, what is amazing, Alison, I don't know if you realise this, but this brings us very neatly onto Layla's second question, what you've just been discussing.
Oh.
Because Layla's second question, and I'm going to read you everything that she's put here. She put, She put, who invented the word fart? Now, I said it like that because she then put in brackets, note that this question has to be asked in uppercase. So it has to be, who invented the word fart? And that's what
That's great. I love that because your tone sounds quite accusatory.
Yeah.
As if the police have after breaking into my house and they're like, who invented the word fart? Tell me now. And I'm like, I don't know, officer, please stop. No, who invented the word fart? And I actually have the answer to this, so I'm quite glad you asked, Layla. I can answer it in uppercase if you like, but maybe I'll try lowercase at first. So it's the Earl of Fart, actually, who invented the word fart. Yes. He's brothers with the Earl of Sandwich, who, as we all know, the Earl of Sandwich he invented sandwiches by he was playing a card game and he was too lazy to eat a roast beef dinner or to cook it himself. He had servants because he is an earl, and he asked for a piece of meat between two slices of bread, and hence the Earl of Sandwich, or the sandwich was born. So that was invented by the Earl of Sandwich. The Earl of Fart, however, was playing cards as well, and he was just bored. And he was like, I want some air to come out of a bum. And the servants had to go find some air and then find the bum and make a fart noise.
Wow.
And they went like that. Wait, I'll try and do my like that. And the Earl of Fart was like, oh yes, I'm very, very happy because the Earl of Fart is very posh. And then hence farts were invented.
That is incredible. So, was that the first ever fart? So before that, nobody had ever farted ever.
Nobody ever farted before, and people were like balloons.
Yeah.
There was just no air would escape from them. And what happened, and I think that's why maybe Henry VIII was so angry and
Yeah.
that he chopped his wife's head off a few times, is that he was so full of farts. Can you imagine not farting?
Oh my gosh, it would be horrendous. Especially like, people in the old days did eat beans and they did eat cabbage. They ate all the foods that give you the most farts. So,
Yeah.
he would have just been. Maybe that's also why because Henry VIII sort of wore quite big armor, and maybe it's because he was just so inflated he had to kind of like get bigger and bigger armor all the time, and he could have just been if only he just farted, he might have been a much happier man.
I think so. I think William Shakespeare used to keep his farts in his ruff. The neck appendage that people had back in those days were
Right.
used to hold farts in.
Is that what it is? Did it
You
sort
know?
of restrict? How did that work? Did it kind of restrict around your throat so all the farts stayed inside lower, or did the farts seep into the ruff so it was just a very smelly ruff?
A very smelly ruff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, it was like a ruff was like the end of a balloon that gets tied together, and you just holding all the air in.
Wow. That must have been awful if it fell off or somebody took one off and you didn't expect it and then suddenly just farts everywhere.
That's why everybody smelled back then. That's why there was, the Great Fire of London was actually created by someone who had too many farts within them. And they were baking some bread because it happened at a baker's, wasn't it? The Great Fire of London. And an explosion just like that. Just
wow.
Why am I so bad at fart noises? I sound like I'm either a goat or like some sort of fairy doing a spell. When I just need to do a good fart noise. Help me, wait there. I mean, that's just wait. That's all right. Let's say it's that.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a classic one. So that's my tongue and my lips together making a fart noise.
I don't want you to see yourself down. I think every noise you've done could have been a fart of different kinds. Farts have a great variety to them. And in fact, if anything, that's something that, I don't know if the Earl of Fart, did later works or more extensive research, but we just use the word fart for all of the farts, and maybe we need different, different categories at least.
Oh, I think that's such a good idea. Like the way that Inuit people have many words for snow.
Yeah.
Like it's that type of thing. In Ireland, like we've a load of different words for rain. And maybe we should come up with different types of farts. So what do you think like a Christmas dinner fart we need to come up with?
Wow.
That's kind of
that's definitely, I'd go for like a sad whale because that always sounds like a it's always like a
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a really sad whale in the edge. Yeah.
Sounds like a disappointed grandma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Granddad hasn't taken out the bids.
Lovely. Yeah.
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 And like sometimes people I love it sometimes when you're in a room full of people and they think they're gonna have a quiet fart. Someone has done a quiet, and it's like a burp. Like a kind of like a beeping of a car horn.
Yes, car horn. Definitely that should be the car horn. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, beep beep.
Yeah, and then there's those ones. I think the most amazing ones are the ones that change tone about three. So they start like, like the ones that are like an orchestra tuning up. Like when everyone's testing.
Oh, that's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
We'll call it tuning up. It's a warm up fart.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and we need foghorn fart, which is like the sound of like a ship coming in to sea, which is like middle tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ship at night, absolutely. And what about the really tiny, like little, just what are the little sort of those ones?
Oh,
I know you said there was a car
them?
horn, but those are like even higher pitch sometimes. Like, I can't quite do it, but yeah.
Yes, a falsetto fart. So maybe like who does maybe who has a high voice? Ed Sheeran? Like a little Ed Sheeran fart.
Mickey Mouse.
Beep, beep. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. It'll be like a let's go for Mickey Mouse fart, which is that
I've
high
eaten a lot
pitched
of
fart. I think.
beans.
It's very.
That sort of, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh,
Minnie.
Pluto! I'm full of
Oh.
farts. Yeah. I am worried we're gonna get heavily
Yeah.
sued by Disney. I should have said something like Tricky Trouse. I should have changed his name. Mikey Moose. That's who I meant. I didn't mean Mickey Mouse Disney. I'm so sorry.
Yes. Mikey Moose, can you imagine going to his land? It would be terrible. It would just be a set of swings.
Yeah.
And a hot dog stand.
It'd be truly sad, but I hope it's out there somewhere, and I hope to visit. Yeah. Well, that's a good. I think we've covered. I mean, that's fascinating. I didn't know anything about the Earl of Farts. And I think you're definitely. I mean, there's definitely something in that more farts need more. We need more words for more farts. And again, I'll call out to listeners if you've got any specific types of fart that you do or your family do, and you want to let us know what you would call them. Please do write in and let us know, and I'll very happily read them out in the future. Yeah, like
a James Bond fart, which is a quiet fart.
Yeah,
that's you don't even hear it, but it's happened because you can smell it.
Yeah.
We need names for that. So if you send them in, that'd be amazing.
Secret.
We'll do a book of farts, a dictionary of farts.
Yeah, farttionary. That's what I want to call it. It's got to be called a farttionary.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant. I love it. Well, thank you. Those are two. I hope Layla is happy with those answers because I think you answered them. I mean, I don't know who else would have given such wonderful answers, and I'm so grateful that you could come on the show and give us your expertise in both the areas of sunflowers and indeed farts. I mean, you know so many things, but those I knew you were a particular expert at. So thank you for answering those questions.
No problem at all. No problem. Along with the other accolades that I have, that you were so kind to point out at the start.
Yes.
Yes.
We just.
Cracker Tower.
Yeah. I didn't want to go into that too much because I know it was 2019 you last did it, and obviously with the pandemic you haven't been able to enter the competition last 2 years. So I don't know. Is it something you're planning to do again or?
It is. You see, I used to keep my tower of crackers up on the balcony, but the pigeons have all eaten it. So, quite angry with them, to be honest with you.
They really ruin everything. Pigeons are awful. Well, thank you. And have you got an exciting rest of your day planned? You got anything coming up?
What am I going to do? I'm gonna. I currently have conditioner in my hair that I thought I would put on while I was doing the podcast, and so I will wash my hair. That's my plan today.
Your hair's going to be so conditioned. It's going to be the most conditioned hair.
It's going to be so soft. It's going to be softer than a mouse. So it is. Have you ever touched a mouse?
Yes.
They're so soft.
Yeah.
Softest hair in the world. It's going to be incredibly conditioned. It's going to be great.
Just going to sort of float away, I assume. With hair like that, we might sort of see you floating in the sky over the weekend.
Oh, definitely as well, because I don't know if I told you this, along with doing crackers and stuff, I don't fart generally.
Right. Sure.
So eventually I will float away. I know. But look, I can try and recreate them. I'm quite jealous of people that can fart.
Well,
so I'm quite interested in them.
I hope you float somewhere where you can buy a ruff, and I hope that can help you out. Well, that's really sad. I thought we'd end on a high note, but I'm quite worried about you now. I didn't realize you went. We've talked so much about farts. It's almost must be sort of mocking to you that we discussed them so much, and you can't fart. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm happy. I'm happy to help people with their farts, and I'm looking for an anchor at the moment to help me stay underground because I keep floating away.
Yeah,
I keep floating. It's quite annoying. I can't go to the museums or anything because the roofs are so high there. I'm just in a bungalow all the time, just eating my beans on the ceiling. I know I should stop eating beans.
Yeah.
But I just love beans.
Well, who doesn't? Who
love
doesn't
beans
love
too much?
Beans? Yeah, right up there, and they like to be eaten as well as far as I know about beans.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
big fans of it. Wow. Well. Look. Good luck. Good luck to you. Good luck with your hair and your floating, and eating, pigeon fighting, cracker towers stacking. I mean, you've so much going on, and I appreciate you taking the time out to come and do this show and answer those questions. So it's lovely to see you, Alison. And thanks tons.
Oh, what? Oh my gosh, it's happened!
Oh my gosh! She's free!
I'm no longer floating. I'm on the floor now. This is amazing.
Wow.
I'm happy this happened on the podcast. I've just done my first ever fart.
Well done. Well done. Well, and judging by how small that sounded, I think you've got plenty more to come. If you haven't farted ever, if you've got all these years of farts waiting, that maybe it was a. We'll leave you to it. We'll leave you to your exciting weekend ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just farting again.
Thanks so much to Alison Spittle for coming onto the show and answering Layla's super important questions, and of course telling us all about pigeon warfare and vegetable toes. I hope, Layla, that you feel your questions were answered properly, and if you don't, then why not try asking someone else what they think the answers are, someone intelligent like your teacher, a lamppost, or a friendly slug, and I've got a feeling, to be honest, that they'll probably say much the same. If you out there, yes, you there, if you would like to send in a question to be answered by experts like Alison, then get your dehydrated gorillas on stilts, grown-ups, to help you email us at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk, and I'll get it added to the stack of important things that must be found out. And no, not the stack of wafer thin biscuits in the shape of the Eiffel Tower, because it is too delicate to put questions on it and no one must touch it. No one. Don't forget also to come and see our live Comedy Club for Kids shows by checking when we're near you at comedyclub4kids.co.uk. That's in a venue near you. We won't just be sort of like round the corner from where you live. That would be weird. Unless you live round the corner from a venue, in which case we might. Also follow us on PopJam if you're there. And also, if you're grown-ups fancy buying us a fresh giraffe smoothie for making you laugh till you wee yourselves, then they can do that at ko-fi.com/Comedy Club for Kids or by the Acast supporter button. Isn't it nice to be back? I hope you've enjoyed the return of this show. And, oh no, there's a farting blue whale that someone sent that I must have forgotten to put it on the shelf with the others. Oh, where's that going to go? Right, I'll just sort of, there's a little gap. I'll just pop that up in there. Oh no. Bye. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.